Thank you for choosing CTN. And now, it's time with Herman and Sharron.
I love you.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
You have a problem there?
For joining us. There's a little
Good morning, everybody.
delay there coming in.
Yes.
Good to have you folks that are watching. We appreciate you.
We do.
And I want you to know that today we have a very unusual interview.
Interview?
Interview, yeah. Sounds like I'm exacting my words.
Yes.
This is not a small book. And believe it or not, the young lady that wrote this is a prolific writer. If she was not, you know,
And it's a novel?
It's a novel.
And you never interview novels.
Yeah, I know. Unless it's my daughter or grandson or, you know, or whatever. But this is an amazing story. Mm-hmm. And Joyce, you want to talk about her?
Joyce Oglesby is with us, and also her husband, Pastor Webster, and he wants to be called Webby.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I love a guy that is real.
Pastor Webster.
Yeah.
Webby. Joyce is a family life fitness pro, and she looks like it too.
Yeah, she would look good doing fitness right now.
She does. She looks like it. Who has a passion to preserve the family unit, which we all want to see that. She's a radio talk host of Just Ask Joyce, which is a great name.
She would be good.
And a respected speaker, author, magazine columnist. Wow. And her life as a pastor's wife, mother, grandmother, and entrepreneur in the legal community has enhanced her expertise.
Wow.
And so we're going to be talking to her about her book, Grandma's Jewels.
She's as sharp as a tack. Have you ever heard that expression?
We're
right
going to
here.
meet her right
Yes.
now. You can know for sure.
Hey, you got to come here. 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 Hey, Dave, get ready to get ready to shoot her shoes.
Oh, the shoes.
The shoes.
The signature shoes.
Yes, there they are. Okay, there they are, right there. Okay, now how high are those?
Shoes.
There's more.
6 inches, just 6 inches.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! I'm okay. I had to show
Okay,
that.
I got to ask
What
her.
can I say?
I got to ask you how you walk in them. Aren't they hard to walk in?
No, they're actually very comfortable. They're probably the most comfortable pair of shoes I have.
Really?
Wow,
And
sure.
she has a closet filled with those, by the way. That's just one pair.
Oh, wow.
Now, not
Well, you
filled,
do.
but
Yeah.
Our
not
granddaughter
filled.
loves to get in and wear them and walk around
See
the house.
there?
in them.
I'm teaching them to walk with grace already.
So tell me, fitness. How did you get into that?
Well, actually, and I just have changed it because fitness is getting the family fit.
Good,
That's what
good.
I do. That's my passion.
Good.
That's what I do. That's what I love to do. But what I really do is I fix. And so I just changed it. Because I'm like, oh, you know, why didn't I get that revelation before? Here it is. I'm the Family Life Fix-It Pro.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't that great? Don't you love that?
Dave, I gotta ask you one. Dave, my director.
Okay.
Hey, what would we do without it?
He's the most obliging guy. Can you get a shot of her necklace right here? Because this is going to play in as part of our interview. There it is, right there. Let me just look at. I don't know if I can get the lights to pick up on that, but that is absolutely. That looks like a coat of many colors.
It's stunning.
It is
well,
something like that.
Yeah.
It really is, you know, because it's my family legacy. It's the middle one is me.
Wow.
That's Mimi.
Okay.
And then below is my mom, and then my grandmother, and then our daughter. Sorry, baby. Our daughter, our oldest daughter and her kids, and then our youngest daughter and her 2 kids. And this is my grandmother's wedding ring.
Isn't that something?
For real?
For real.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Oh my goodness.
The jeweler made a heart out of it.
And it doesn't have a
open?
heart. It's
No.
open. It's the open heart.
I call it my receptive heart. Because I can
that's even better.
receive more love and
That's
more
even better.
grandkids and great grands, and they can just keep spilling out.
You know, you could. Bond Jewelry would love that.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Well, it's a one of a kind,
Yes,
and
it is.
actually, my jeweler, Jim Jackson from Aesthetics and Jewelry in the Louisville, Kentucky area, designed it for me. And of course, it's on the spine of my book, as you well know. And
I spotted
but
that.
it is not the jewels that's talked about in Grandma's
I know
jewels.
it. Her name is Carissa.
Grandma Grace. Grace Carissa Willingham.
Okay, that was her real name.
Yes.
Grace Carissa Willingham.
Grandma Grace. Everybody knows her as Grandma Grace.
Okay, now.
It's a
now,
gone
now,
with the
now
wind,
I'm going to
isn't it?
confess to you, I'm known for the last 35 years of reading all of the books. I have to confess, I didn't read this one. I mean, I read a lot of it, but I did not finish. What have we got here? How many pages in this baby? Because
About 693 or so. But no, wait.
So-
But look, did you appreciate the eye comfort that it gave?
Oh,
it's bigger print. It's bigger print.
I have to tell you, every time I would...
It's about the size of a novel.
Yeah, I would read, I would have to stop and I would go, Joyce, how do you do this? How do you, did you do it on a computer?
I sit down and I just type and it just comes. You know, it's all stored here and then it just comes. I did this in 45 days. There's 54 chapters. I did it in 45 nights between about 10:30 at night to about 2 o'clock in the morning. And what I would do is I would write one chapter.
Were you aware that she was doing this while you were
because
sleeping?
I was one of her readers. See, she had a whole plethora of people reading the book as she wrote it.
Test readers.
Test readers. And so we would get a chapter or two every other day
Okay,
or
now-
so.
In the middle of the night.
Now, does she take constructive criticism?
Oh, yes.
I'm fine.
Yes. Because let me tell you, as a preacher's wife is our best critic, and she's been doing that with me for years. So there's a little
We have
payback
to-
now that she's
he can
writing
fix
books.
There you go. This is my turn, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I
He
gotta
gets
ask
thick
you,
skin.
you've got to be a night person then, because by 10:30 at
night,
night,
I'm morning.
I'm
She
done.
just said she has no problem sleeping.
No, but that doesn't mean a lot of night people they do their best work at night, where day people do the best work in the morning.
I'm really night and morning, and I get up and I'm like the ever ready
Oh, I know.
battery
Yes,
bunny, and it's
I
like
wish I
I've been
had more
wound up and I
energy.
just go.
But see,
You know what's bad about this is you never see our guests before we go on live. Okay, because I wish that could be, because she was over here just chattering away. I mean,
I did.
and I said, keep doing that when we go on the air.
And
But
he said, no problem,
Yeah.
she
No
will.
problem. Well, see, her family life growing up had a lot to do with this, because she grew up in South Georgia on a tobacco farm. 8 kids. They were up at 4 a.m. in the fields. She was cooking at 9 years old for all the hands and all the kids and
About
the
50
workers.
people.
And so she was up early, and she and her mom then had to put up all the produce to feed everybody, starch and iron all the clothes and wash them. They did double duty every day.
And we
you,
got
you
to
look
bed
like
about
you never got
12:30
your
or 1
hands.
o'clock.
You look like you've never gotten your hands dirty.
Oh, she has.
Put me behind a plow.
Well, you know,
I'll show
we've
you
got
how.
something. I grew up on a tobacco farm in Kentucky.
Oh, well,
Okay.
see, y'all do it different. Yeah, that's where I'm from now, but they do it.
Have you ever stripped
it's
tobacco?
The soft way. I've stripped it from the ground up, the hard way where you crop it, week by week. See, in Kentucky, they just cut it on the stalks and hang it up. That's the easy way.
Don't be dishing us.
Oh, well.
The tobacco fields where I was, they got marijuana now.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, in the tobacco fields where I work, they have cotton.
Cotton has
Georgia,
come back in Georgia.
big cotton
Big
producers.
time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Listen.
Grandma's Jewels.
And the legacy behind
Now
them.
you'll see the website and get your opportunity to read this, because you'll sit down and you'll go, oh my goodness, and then you need to have one of those stoppers that go in here when you finish that one, so you can come back to it when you go back to your rocking chair.
I want
Okay.
to know what it's about. Tell me about the story.
It is a multifaceted mystery. Number one, I mean, when it's
Soon to be a movie. No, just kidding.
Yeah, it would make
Hey,
a great
I believe
movie.
it will. I believe it will. It's kind of a Gone with the Wind / Legends of the Fall with
Yeah.
a big God twist.
Okay.
And here's the thing.
Big God twist.
A big God twist. But this is an anchor. She is a single mom, single grandmom, and the anchor of the family. But she is not just the matriarch of the Willingham family. She is the matriarch of all of Savannah, Georgia. It's set in Savannah, Georgia. Beautiful,
love Savannah.
beautiful
I grew
Savannah.
Remember the
up about
houses with
18 miles
pillars?
from there.
Oh,
did you?
yes.
Yeah.
He grew up there.
But you see,
Yeah. Well, you've lost your accent. Just kidding.
A little bit.
he has more of one than I do.
Yeah,
I wish I had one. But
Continue.
Continue. But what you see here is a family that every family is going to identify with. You're going to fall in love with the Willingham family, number one, because Grandma Grace is this pillar of godliness, who's been on her knees for her family, but her children go prodigal. at least some of them. But then, you know, she's rearing her grandchildren as well. How many grandparents do you know who are rearing their grandchildren today? A lot.
Yeah. And happening all the time.
And happening more and more. But here's the thing, you know, Grandma Grace does it with grace. It is just amazing what she weaves throughout this book. And see, when you, as you well know, when you open the book, she's dead. Grandma has deceased. She's at her wake, and these novel jewels, which is one of the really big mysteries of where they came from, but the other big mystery is who has stolen them off her person in the funeral home.
Are you telling too much?
No, no, no,
Okay,
no. Oh, no, listen.
Okay,
Even if you...
Because novels are like movies.
No.
You can't give up the plot.
No, you don't want to get to the end
listen.
quick.
I don't care if some people, you know, flip to the back because they can't stand the suspense. They want to know who done it.
Especially
even
when
if
they
you
say,
do,
when they say, I'm going to go through that, I'm just going to turn back here.
Listen, you will not even, there have been so many people said, you robbed me of a whole night's sleep. I could not put it down. There's just so many mysteries embedded in this that is just, winds up being a really significant one, but less significant one.
Her sudden passing, many were devastated because she brought joy and love. Okay, now.
And Christ.
Yeah, and take it to that point. What did they discover
about Grandma?
Yeah. I mean, on her passing, she's now in heaven.
She's in heaven.
And this whole thing then opens up, right?
Well, it does. The whole story unfolds, and I take you back in time. There's a timeline that I have developed, and you know, so I take you back in time because what is happening is you find out that every family member is going to take you back to remember when. Remember when Grandma said this? Remember when Grandma, and Grandma, you know, they're missing Grandma already and the value that she is to each one of those family members in their own way. And, you know, Grandma Grace is a really important figure in this community because, you know, she's in a large church, which she is responsible for many of the members that have come into the church. Why? Because she lived out the life of Christ. And that is what makes Grandma Grace just such a, you know, a matriarch in this community.
Is this a personal account of something in your life?
You know what? I say Grandma Grace is a little bit of me and everything I want to be. Now, what Grandma Grace is going to teach people, and here's the thing, you know, when God put this on my heart, I tried to give it away twice to 2 national authors, fiction authors. Sent them the story, and they're like, "Oh,
so
this is a lovely story."
So in other words, you would have given them a manuscript?
Because it's such a powerful story.
Okay.
But I don't do fiction. I kept telling God, I don't do fiction. You know, I do self-help. And you know, they sent it back, said, "Lovely story, but we just can't wrap our minds around it." So I sent it to a ghost writer. And I said, if you can capture my voice, here's some of my writings. If you can capture my voice, then you write this story because I don't do fiction. That was not my voice. And so about a year later, God just put me in a valley and he said, now, you know, you be still and write this story. I've been trying to get you to write this story for 5 years. Do it. And so I did, and it just spilled forth and I couldn't stop. And about halfway through, I'm like, well, lo and behold, I am writing fiction, but it is a sneak attack on self-help.
There's so many values that go through and are woven in and out of every one of the characters, and that's the beauty of the book.
Yeah.
It is a mystery, and that captures you, but what it does is you find out that she's had lawyers and other people say, I wish I had had this when I was rearing my children. Now I'm going to do it with my grandchildren because the values in it are so deep and so good that every family needs to put them in effect.
How does your timing work? Like when you're moving it along, ultimately going to end this thing, how do you insert the ones? Do you reshift? How does it do? Are you getting it?
I'm telling you, God really did this through me. You know, for me to even, let me just say, I'm holding several book clubs across the country, actually. You know, I do some by Skype and I do, you know, by telephone, but I in my area, or either I travel to you if you would like for me to come and review the book, because what we're doing, some of them are taking it 5 chapters at a time, and actually it looks like our Bible. We are like writing in the margins, and we're highlighting and we're underscoring, because it's just full of so many life values, and people are becoming so wrapped up in just what Grandma Grace is teaching.
Give me one of the values.
All right, let me tell you my best favorite part. Can I do that?
Give me that. And make it live.
Oh, it will live. You know, Grandma Grace has received some news, and she goes off to her bedroom, and her friend, Kathy Sue Berger, answers the phone. And Grandma Grace is a very well-known woman, you have to understand. And so she receives the call and she says, oh my goodness, let me see if I can, you know, get Grace to the phone. So she goes in and she knocks on the door, and she's like, you know, should I disturb her? Should I not? You know, maybe she's sleeping. And so she goes in, and Grandma Grace is kneeling at her bench. And so she goes in, and, you know, she's very excited because it's the Queen of England on the phone. And she says, Grace, you know, I hate to disturb you, but the Queen is on the phone for you. And Grace is just undisturbed. She just doesn't move. She says, Grace, really, it's the Queen, you know, as in Elizabeth. It's like London, England, the Queen. I mean, it's the Queen. And Grace says, tell the Queen I'm indisposed. And she says, but Grace, it's really the Queen. And she says, tell the Queen I'm speaking with God. She'll understand her place. Wow. She'll understand her place. Now, how many of us has ever put God on hold and answered a phone, looked at a text, you know, gone to answer the door, whatever? How many of us has done that? That is like my best favorite part. But there's so many parts like that where Grace just nails it for God. I mean, it's like nothing is more important in my life, and I live that example, and I'm teaching my children how to. And she has such creative ways to be a grandmom, to be a mom. Her wall of remembrance, you're going to want to check out. Her measure of growth chart, you're going to want to check out. And then just so many ways that she sits on the rock. You know, you know, in South Georgia, we have the front porch.
Oh, I know.
We have lost that art.
You have porches all the way around the house.
Yeah.
We have lost that art.
Yeah, no.
You know, we don't sit on the front porch now. It's so funny because on this book tour, I was going through Parrott, Georgia the other day, and I saw some cotton growing in this front porch, and that caught my eye first. But then what brought me back, I turned around and came back. What brought me back was there were people sitting on the front porch on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, I've got to go back and investigate that. It's just incredible. You never see that anymore. So I turn around and I go back, and what I discover, of course, you know, I just walk up on the porch and introduce myself, and
I can see you doing
that. 5 generations of women sitting on that front porch rocking. Biggie's porch, she was 100 years old 2 days before. So I did a whole show, my Just Ask Joy show, did a whole show about Biggie's porch. But you know, we have lost that art, but right then, just like the dinner table, you know, those are the places where we connect with our kids, where we build values and we talk God, and we teach them without preaching. You know, right. You can't preach to these kids. Yeah. You can't do that. You know, you've got to live it out, you've got to model it, and you've got to invest, because this is your legacy. You know, and this is the story of Grandma Grace's legacy, and what she's going to leave behind for these kids and her family is invaluable. It's priceless. It's as priceless as the jewels that have been stolen from her neck.
Okay, what that
I told you I get cranked up.
Yeah, I love it. That stolen jewels.
Yes.
I mean, without ruining the story.
Give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Weave that in. What is that all about?
They are priceless jewels, and one of the big mysteries is how they got to Grace. Where they came from, how they got there. Those are dual mysteries right there. But there's been, you know, I mean, they're invaluable. And Grandma has promised them to everyone. She's promised them to everyone. And so they all think they're theirs, and then they go missing, and who, of course all the family members are in the wake room, and there's some other people, but who took the jewels? Who would be so bold?
Draws the whole community of Savannah to her wake. There's
Obviously.
lines of people that simply want to see the necklace that she's wearing.
Is she
This.
Well,
No.
it's not this.
No.
Oh,
No.
yeah. This has sentimental
Yeah.
value that I can, is priceless to
But-
me. But these are valuable.
But her jewels are jewels.
Yes, yeah.
So is she a
yeah.
wealthy woman? Does she come from a wealthy background?
You know what? She came from a very meager background, but she would tell you she is not a self-made woman. She was very, very blessed and very wealthy. Because God helped her get there, but she didn't live that way. She lived very frugally, taught her family to live frugally, and she's a
Create
very
and develop an industry.
So
Yeah,
where are the
yeah.
jewels?
they're stolen.
She can't tell you.
I know.
They're stolen. He's trying to trip me into this. I'm
I'm trying to help you.
No, you want to read
Everybody
the book.
needs to buy it and find out because it's a great book.
It's an ebook format, so it's not quite as long an ebook. It's only like 500 pages in ebook, but 700 pages in this. But let me tell you, here's the thing. People and I love this, but I know that God is doing what He intended to do through me with this, because as I said, I didn't write this. When I'm going through it with these book reviews and things, I'm like, whoa, did you read this? And they're like, but you wrote it. And I'm like, I know, but God is the one that wrote it through me. And it's like, I just discover every time. I've read it 13 times. And I'm like,
Seriously?
oh my goodness. Oh yeah. But what I'm learning is, this engineer and doctors and lawyers and construction workers, it's cross-generational and cross-gender. I mean, I have 13-year-olds and 17-year-olds that are just grasping the beauty of this book and being taught by Grandma Grace. Because you know why? Because they're not having grandmas teach them these days.
Sure.
Grandparents, we have such significance in our children's lives. Whether they want to hear you or not, or whether you think they're listening or not, they are grabbing on to what you say to them. So tell them about Jesus and
She
be
is
creative.
a phenomenal grandma.
I guarantee you.
This lady,
You're probably going to be the Grandma
unbelievable.
Grace. You're going to identify with Grandma
I
Grace.
have to read it. I want to give it to my
okay,
granddaughter.
But what's-
give me one more jewel.
One more jewel?
Yes, you gave us one.
Or
Another
like
tidbit.
another best
Another
favorite
Yeah, yeah,
part?
yeah.
Oh my goodness, there's so
See,
many.
because I'm using the analogy of jewel. Here we go.
Here's Grandma Grace has so many little quotes, and it's interesting that on my talk show years ago, God decided that I was going to do Joyce's quote for the day. So I come up every day with an original quote.
That's
sometimes
hard
it's
to do.
well, I
She
usually
looks
do it
at
on
me
the phone. I'm like,
sometimes. Give me a
okay.
quote.
Well, I just look sometimes for
Said
a
I'm
word.
not in
Just
your
give me a
brain,
word.
darling.
But in here, Grandma Grace does all kinds of quotes, and those are the wisdom, the pearls of wisdom that they're drawing from. But
What was your
there's-
okay? Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was
I'm
just
just trying to think help your thinking process.
Oh yes, I know. I mean, I'm trying to think of what would be the next best favorite part in here for me. Probably when Grandma. Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Madeline, one of her grandchildren, says, "Grandma, am I going to hell?
To hell.
Am I going to hell?" And she says, "Only if you want to." This is the wisdom of Grandma Grace. Only if you want to.
Boy, that is a great answer.
Isn't it?
That is a great answer.
And then of course
It really is.
It is. Only if you want to. And, that's our Grandma Grace. Profound, just lays it out, straightforward, but not judgmental, not condemning. And here's the thing. There are so many family dysfunctions in this book. You name it. I almost covered everything in here. Now, God held me off on some things, and I know why now, because there's going to be a sequel. The next sequel will be The Valley Messenger.
The what?
The Valley Messenger.
Is it going to be about Grandma Grace too?
Oh, Grandma Grace will never die.
She'll never die.
She'll never
There's
die.
13 sequels at least from this book because of the characters.
Every character could have a
Now
sequel.
they won't all be 500 pages.
No,
but
no, because I've developed all the characters in here. And that takes, this is a whole family, a life of a family. And you think about it, could you condense your family in one book? 700 pages. It's unbelievable.
And the
so,
reason we know God's behind this is that she had no idea what she was going to write when she sat down.
That's
I
why,
didn't.
that's why it's so amazing.
every night I'm like, okay, so what
And
next,
she
Lord?
did not know how it was going to end until it ended.
I'm like, okay, who did it? Well,
I was going to say, how do you know how to end it?
What was the length of time that you would start typing? What?
I would start anywhere between 10:30 and 11:30 at night because I had all of my, I had to, look at what I was going to do for my show the next day, and and I'm still a court reporter, kind of, sort of, and helping my daughters out.
How many words do you type in a minute?
Oh, I'm fast. I'm a court reporter.
I know you are, but 90?
Oh, please.
Way.
That would be
more than
slow?
that. Yes.
120?
Last time I was tested, I did like 150 or so, but I type faster than that. Testing just hangs me up.
So your hands are moving, you don't even know what they're moving on.
Listen, God would wake me up sometimes, and that's when I would write 2 chapters, and I'd go to sleep, and I'm like, oh, wait, okay, yeah, that's great. And so I'd get up and I'd write that chapter and I'd go back to bed. But I did it in 45 days, 45 nights. And it's 54 chapters long.
I want to know
Unbelievable.
what kind of vitamins you're on, because whatever they are.
It is pure love. This man takes such
He
good care of
is.
me.
If you could see his eyes while you're talking, it's pure love.
It is.
That camera is yours. Share Christ with somebody. We have about a minute and a half for you.
All right. I can tell you, as someone who has been through more dysfunction than is in this book, because I was someone who was seeking to be rescued as a child, because I went through not just emotional, not just verbal, not just physical, but also sexual abuse as a young girl. And because Gideon put a Bible in my hand in elementary school, I am sitting here today writing about Jesus, talking about Jesus on my show, sharing Jesus with my husband. We've been partnered. I know I can't. Partnered up with him for 43 years. But I, as a young girl, prayed for someone to teach me how to love. Lord, send someone to teach me how to love, and He did. It was in the form of Jesus Christ. And then partnered up with my husband. But I remember, this scripture from 2 Samuel 22, where He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because He delighted in me. And God delights in all of us, every one of us. He delighted in me. He threw me a rope, but I chose to climb out of the pit. Now, God loves every one of us, but will you choose Him?
That's your choice. You made the choice.
Yes, I did make the choice.
And you remember when you made that choice.
Are you going to hell?
Yeah.
Only if you want to. Yeah.
That's your opportunity. Isn't that wonderful to know that still in America we're allowed to do this?
That's right.
Don't take this for granted. Jesus Christ
Amen.
is the answer to every need you may have. Trust Him today. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching It's Time. If you have recently made a decision for Christ, Herman and Sharron would like to hear from you.